Hello, hockey fans. Welcome back. The 2022-2023 season is underway. I'm here to bring you a Jägerbombs DFS NHL cheat sheet tutorial for anyone new, maybe a little bit of a tune-up for those coming back into the season. It has been a few months here. We've got a couple of games under our belt this season. I have added some new stuff this year, so I definitely want to go over that as well. With that, let's jump right in and have a look here. This is going to be the main tab on the cheat sheet that you're going to see each and every day. This is the matchups tab. This is where I start my research every day. It kind of gives you each matchup for the night, along with Vegas odds, over-unders, projected goals for each team. Right now, the stats that you're going to see are from last season. So we've got team overall offense, team opponent's defense. So you kind of get that, like you can see here, Toronto was the #2 overall offense last year. Montreal was dead last, 32nd in defense. That's a +30. So this differential column is just kind of an indicator showing you that you have a good offense versus a bad defense. So that's one place that I look. And then we start looking at the splits. Home offense versus opponent's defense. So that would be their away defense with that same differential. Same with the road team, their road offensive ranking and the team's home offensive or defensive ranking, and that differential there as well. Then we get into some advanced stats here, looking at scoring chances. So you got scoring chances per 60 minutes, and you got the opponent's scoring chances against per 60 with that differential in there as well to kind of help you out. And then we've got high danger scoring chances along with the opponent's high danger scoring chances allowed, and the differential. High danger scoring chance, that's just obviously in the opponent's defensive end in the scoring zone, which is going to be a little bit closer to the net. In future videos, I will bring up that chart that Natural Stat Trick website has. I'm just kind of showing you how they break down where that high danger zone is. But just kind of in general, it's going to be a lot closer to the net, kind of in the slot area, I guess is what we'd be looking for there. So then we move over and we look at special teams. We've got the team's power play versus the opponent's penalty kill. And then over on the far right, we've got each team's home and road records here as well. Okay, so moving on, looking at the goalie tab, we've got a few things going on here. We've got the names of each goalie each day, the teams, the DraftKings price, the FanDuel price, the projections for those players, as well as the odds, the projected goals, which this is the opponent's projected goals because we are looking at goalies. We want teams that are going to be, projected for a few goals that night is going to be good for our goalies. Over on the left, we've got projected versus confirmed goalies. So this changes automatically throughout the day. As goalies are confirmed, you will see the C come up beside them. Projected is just obviously projected for that day. And that data we pull also from the same place we pull our projections from. Helping us out is Daily Fantasy Sports Rankings. Moving over, we've got statistics. So we've got games played, wins, losses, shutouts for each goalie, goals against average, and save percentage. And we've got some advanced stats here as well. This is shots against per 60. So we can kind of see we obviously want goalies that are going to get a lot of shots against them because that does add to our DraftKings and FanDuel scoring. But then we also want goalies that are going to save those as well. Getting a lot of shots isn't always a great thing if they're allowing a lot of goals. So that's where one statistic really isn't good enough when we're doing our research. We really do have to combine it all together. So we've got save percentage in there as well. Then we've also got, like we talked about on the team tab, high dangers shot against per 60. So how many scoring chances, shots, I guess, from those high danger scoring areas are the opponents getting on that goalie, and then their high danger save percentage in those areas as well. So generally we want goalies that aren't facing as much of those high danger, because obviously the save percentage goes down dramatically in those areas just because it is the scoring area. So kind of look at that for your research in there as well. Then we've got team ranks. We've got that team's, so Colorado's defensive rank, the opponent's offensive rank, the differential there as well. I always like to put that differential in there. It's just a quick indicator to tell you good matchup versus bad matchup, and then we can dig in a little bit further. We got our team's penalty kill rank versus the opponent's power play, and then the differential. And then we've got the injuries here as well. And then we'll move on. All skaters. We can go over all skaters rather than going over the centers, wingers, and defense. That just combines all of them together in one tab if you're doing your research and kind of want to compare all players, not just centers, wingers, and defense. The statistics and everything that you're going to see is going to be the same and carries over through those other tabs. So we'll just go through these here a little bit, and then I'll jump over to defense because there is some stats that I do look at a little bit more. We can talk about those here as well. So you got your players. You got your team and opponents, DraftKings, FanDuel, odds. The projections are in there. The big one here for the centers, wingers, and defense is your lines, power play, and obviously the position. So the position is going to show you here. This would be each team has 4 lines. So you're going to be line 1, 2, 3, and 4. Generally, we're looking towards lines 1 and 2 for cash games. We can sneak into those line 3s sometimes. For GPPs, a little bit more. They're going to get a little bit less ice time than your top 2 lines generally. And then what we really want to look at here is players on the power play. So each team has 2 power play lines. So this indicates whether they're on power play 1 or power play 2. You can start combining players that way. So you can have a look at that there. So if you are targeting players, say on a line 3, what I like to do is just make sure that they are on a top power play unit as well, which gives you a little bit more ice time for that player as well as opportunity. So then we've got stats for the season, games played, goals, assists, points, power play points, plus minus, time on ice, power play time on ice, and then a big one for me is your combined shots and blocks. I'm going to talk about that when we get over to the defense a little bit, but that's pretty mandatory. You're getting points on DraftKings and FanDuel for shots and blocked shots. So I like to look at the combined there. That's a stat I like to look at most, or not mostly, but for cash games especially, because it's going to give you a high floor of players that are going to give you a lot of shots and blocks, which can give you that floor, and then their points, obviously, power play points, power play time on ice is more of it's going to give you that upside to hit their ceiling each and every night. So as the season goes on here, we're also going to be looking at stats for the last 5 games, kind of gives you some current form. So it's all the same stats in here as you see for the season long, but it's just over each player's last 5 games, which does give you, like I said, give you a look at their current form. So then we've got the advanced stats column. So that is shots per 60 rather than shots per game, because each player isn't playing. I like to compare it a little bit more on a per 60 rate, because it puts all players on the same level rather than per game, because ice time and stuff like that. So it kind of puts all the same players, or all players, on the same level. So that's shots per 60. And then sometimes people will call this shot attempts per 60. Some people will call it Corsi. Corsi is like I don't know, I think the guy's name was Corsi who came up with the stat. And pretty much the shot attempts are shots that hit the net, shots that miss the net, and shots that are blocked. So it's all opportunities that a player has in terms of shots. So like David Pastrnak, for example, has 14 shots per 60 minutes. Those are shots that hit the net. And then he has 25.1 shot attempts per 60. So that's, again, shots that hit the net. That's a 14. Shots that are blocked, and then shots that miss the net. So it's kind of another way to look at it is your opportunities for each player, scoring opportunities. Then we've got scoring chances, 4. So that is how many scoring chances per 60 minutes a player has, how many high danger scoring chances. We've talked about the high danger area. So generally you're looking for, you're going to see your grinder players that get in front of the net. Defensemen are always going to be a little bit low in terms of your high danger scoring chances than your centers and your wingers. And then we've got blocks per 60 in here as well. Again, these advanced stats are per 60 rates, which just put all players on the same level, easily to compare between players if you're doing that. And then we've got the team ranks, team's offense versus the opponent's defense, the differential tab, team's power play versus opponent's penalty kill, the differential tab, and then injuries. So I'm looking at my defensemen. One thing that I'm always looking for is this combined shots and blocks. So we can see I'm going to split it up here, kind of like we have over on the last 5 tabs where we show shots and blocks. I'm going to separate those just so you can have a look at that a little bit more, because for defensemen, block shots are a big thing. Defensemen, they're going to be out there in the penalty kill, and they are going to be blocking shots on the penalty kill as well. That's going to give your defenseman a very high floor sometimes, especially when you're looking for defensemen down in the 3K, on DraftKings, even down in the 2K area. Defensemen that give you a lot of blocks that maybe aren't on the power play on the power play 1 or power play 2 can still be viable options for cash games, because they give you a nice floor with blocks and shots. So make sure to look at those as well. Also on the cheat sheet this year, I've added tiers. So this will be updated every day. I'm going to add some more stats as the season goes along here as well. But for now, it breaks it up into all 8 tiers over on DraftKings, shows you the odds, projected goals for that team so you can compare, and then your stats of goals, assists, points, power play points, shots per game, blocks per game, time on ice, and power play time on ice to separate and help you do your research there. The tool that I added last year, I'm going to be doing a little bit more work on it here this year, is the line combination / stack tool. So we'll look at the DraftKings one here. So what it does is it takes, well, first of all, let's go over the depth chart. So if you want to look at any team's depth chart, these are updated every day for the teams that are playing. The teams that aren't playing, it's going to be updated. You know, it's maybe a couple days old, so it may miss a practice or two. But the teams that are playing each and every day that are on the cheat sheet that show up on the matchups tab and then through all the players tab, those are updated every day after morning skates. So make sure to check those. If you want to research any team, you can come down here and you can just kind of, what I do is Control F, and let's just say we're looking for Vegas. Come down here and we can look at Vegas's line combinations. And that would be obviously their last, so that's going to be their last game day or whatever. That's going to be their line 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as the power play players that are playing on power play 1 and power play 2 there. So that depth chart tab then goes into the DK and FanDuel line combination / stack tool. So we've got each team. I don't include the fourth line. We're not really going to be looking at stack and fourth lines ever. Just because they're not getting near as much ice time as the top two, especially, or even the third line. So then we've got opponents' defensive rank. So obviously Toronto's a good matchup here because they're facing Montreal, who's 32nd in defense. This is last year's stats. Again, this will update as the season goes on. Then we've got odds, projected goals for the team. Then we got team line number. So Toronto line 1. We've got all 3 players on that line 1, Michael Bunting, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner. We've got their individual projections here as well. Then over here, we've got their combined salaries on DraftKings, as well as their combined projection for that line. So this sheet every day will be sorted by line projection. So it will be sorted by the projection of those. You can also see now, once you sort it like that, you can not only see the players and how much they are in each line, what their individual projections are on that line, but then you can start looking at, if you're stacking in GPPs and you want a full line stack, how much is it going to cost you to stack Toronto's top line? Obviously, it's the most expensive line on the Wednesday slate here, $20,600. So it's going to be very expensive, but their projection is quite a bit higher than the next top line here is Colorado's line 1. Is only 38.7 points today. That is just simply because Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen are up there for sure in projection, but Arturi Lehkonen, you're getting a cheap player, and that kind of separates your price here. So we can start looking at some value stacks. Vancouver versus Edmonton is only 16,800. Toronto line 2 is only 16,100, and they have projections over 30 points here. So that's how you can kind of find your value stacks each and every day, or just looking at it from a stacking perspective overall. What lines are projected for more or less, and what their DK combined dollar is to stack those. FanDuel is exactly the same, except for obviously in FanDuel pricing, so you can check that out there as well. And then throughout the day, you're going to see Ryan's top targets at goalie, center, wingers, and defense. And on the days where I'm not doing videos, I will also have Chris's top targets up there as well. So make sure to check all that information out. To get this cheat sheet, to have access to the cheat sheet, make sure to, and I will drop the link down I'll pin it to this video below, as well as you can find it. You see there's a little a banner going across the bottom. You head over to www.patreon.com/JagerBombs. You can find the NHL package. It's $10 a month. That's US dollars. We'll get you access to the cheat sheet. All the information I showed here, highlighted plays on centers, wingers, and defensive tab. We're going to have highlighted plays on tiers, possibly rankings there as well. Like I said, the line combination tools, Ryan's top targets, Chris's top targets, and access to our Discord where you can reach out to our coaches, chat with them privately or in our NHL channel. We also have an NHL news channel. It's going to give you updated injury information, fantasy information, updated goalies, and that sort of thing. So $10 a month for that. And if you play more than one sport, we're currently running over 10 plus sports. This is a very busy part of the season. We've got baseball playoffs going on. We've got NHL just started. NBA gets started within a week. NFL is now 5 weeks in. We're now into week 6. We've got NASCAR finishing their season. PGA's in full swing. We've got Dane doing soccer, tennis. Kenny's getting ready for the new LOL season. He's going to be covering NBA as well. We've got a lot of stuff going on. And you can get all of that, all the cheat sheets, all of our coaches, all of our information, picks, ranks, everything for $20 a month if you play more than one sport. That is the cost of 2 sports. You're pretty much getting 8 sports for free. So make sure to check that out and reach out to me in chat. I'm under Chris, JagerBombs team leader, over in our Discord. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can also get in maybe check out some of our free channels right now. We've got MLB running for free. We've got a free trial members channel as well. And you can also get in and see our winning picks each and every day, all for free. You can get in and check that out by joining through the Discord free trial link. That will also be posted below, so make sure to check that out. Thanks for checking out the video. Stay tuned for more, and good luck this season, everyone.